Ladies and gentlemen, they said the higher overdoses are not in the rural areas anymore. They're in the city. But who's moving to the cities? Who's gentrifying the cities now? So this came out in The Hill August 2nd, 2019. Drug overdose deaths in the US are now higher in cities after years of being more common in rural areas. It still is. Don't make them have you believe that it's not in the rural areas as much. It's still heavily going on in rural areas, ladies and gentlemen. According to data from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention released Friday, the CDC says overdose rates for urban areas surpass rural areas in 2016 and 2017, though not by much. The CDC found that in 2017 there were 22 overdose deaths out of every 100,000 people in urban areas. In rural, there were 20 overdose deaths per 100,000 people. Overdose death rates for 2018 will be reported later this year. That's right, they always lag a year behind, y'all. The agency said both urban and rural overdose rates have skyrocketed since 1999, which is when the CDC started analyzing data for its current report. From 1999 to 2003, drug overdose death rates were higher in urban counties than in rural counties. Rates were similar from 2004 through 2006, then higher in rural counties from 2007 through 2015, the CDC found. For both urban and rural counties, the rate of drug overdose deaths was highest among people between ages of 25 and 44. According to the CDC, the U.S. is in the midst of the deadliest drug plague in history. Preliminary agency data released last month showed about 68,500 people died from drug overdoses in 2018, which is a bogus number. Remember, only 22 states report to the CDC, not all 50 states. So any number they give you is always going to be a lowball number. The report found that deaths in urban counties were often the result of men who overdosed on heroin, cocaine, and synthetic opioids, including fentanyl. Rural counties reported higher deaths among women who overdosed on methamphetamines and prescription opioid pills such as oxycodone. The CDC defined urban areas as counties with large and small cities and their suburbs. Rural areas were non suburban counties with fewer than 50,000 residents. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump came out and claimed that he lowered the overdose rate for deaths for opioids. And as you can see, many of these reports that are coming out is contrary to what Trump has said. I know he wants to do his victory lap because re-election time is coming up for him, but believe me, opioid overdose deaths are higher than ever. These folks are still dropping like flies. None of that have changed. You know, I think it's a dangerous thing to get out here and tell people that you are responsible for something that literally never happened. You know, he's not responsible for lowering anything, and but that's what he's going to go on the campaign trail and sell to his people. You know, along with immigration and all the other stuff, and send her home and all that nonsense he be talking. But in the meantime, when reality finally sets in, you'll realize that people are still dropping like flies all around America. The drugs are rampant here. That's one thing. They never could get control over the flow of drugs coming in, into the country. There's all kinds of drugs coming from all different borders, including Canada. Those drugs from Canada are making it into the US as well. It's not all coming from the Mexican border, and some of the drugs are coming out of the Caribbean. So, America is literally inundated with drugs. But look, it wouldn't be this way if the drugs were not being demanded. There's a high demand for the drugs. That's why they keep flowing in the way that you see it, plain and simple. And as I stated before, Trump can forget about China stopping fentanyl from coming in here. China probably made billions off of fentanyl alone. They're not going to stop that stuff from coming in here. They don't care. And the more he kicks up this trade war with China, the more defiant they're going to become. They're not going to stop nothing from, they don't care nothing about these Americans dropping dead from their fentanyl. You really think they care? They don't care, and they never will. Ladies and gentlemen, America cannot solve this problem. Just understand that. They can't solve it at all. It's too many people. It's far out of control. And when you got millions of people abusing a drug, there is no way you can control that. The only thing they can do is demand more money and try to get these people into rehab. You are not going to get all of them. A lot of them are going to slip through the crack and end up in the morgue. And that's exactly what is happening. It was not even that long ago, back in 2017 and 2016, I was doing stories on morgues running out of space. And some of you that have been with me for a long time, you remember this. There were a few states that had to get refrigerated trucks because they were running out of space for all of these dead bodies coming in from drug overdose. Or they had to build onto their facility to make more room to store bodies. It got that bad in the US. Now, their new thing is trying to get Narcan in the hands of as many citizens as possible. They did a Narcan giveaway at these pharmacies around me, I believe back in May or June of this year. They did it in my state, and they also did it in the state of Pennsylvania. And believe me, they're going to be doing it in more states because they are exhausted running around to all of these junkies on a regular basis. So now they are trying to get the public to help with these folks that are out here overdosing. That's all they're doing. They had a whole list of places that you could go to get free Narcan, and they had the listing everywhere. So it was just really a lot of the main pharmacies, CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and a few others. So I can definitely see something like that happening in more states in the years to come. And also, don't forget, Philadelphia opened up some safe injection houses for these people to go. It's nothing but a legalized crack house where you take your illegal drugs, you go in there, and you get high in front of a medical professional that's prepared to administer Narcan if you overdose. But, remember, if you were in a crack house back in the 80s, everybody in there got arrested. Everybody went to jail. To this very day, people are still sitting in jail from the crack epidemic because of Bill Clinton's 3 strikes, you're outlaw. But these folks, remember, they get drug court. They don't get prison. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.